Do you want to know the quickest way to make a narcissist completely lose interest in you? Here are 7 strong things that will make them walk away and leave you alone for good once and for all. And number 7 is so powerful that they'll start avoiding you like a disease they're afraid of catching. Many people believe the only way to deal with a narcissist is to fight back, argue with them, or prove that they're right. But doing exactly that is what keeps the narcissist hooked on you, because it feeds their craving for attention, drama, and control over you. What actually works instead is when you become calm, peaceful, and completely unbothered by them. That way, you stop being interesting to them at all. You stop handing over the emotional energy they feed on. And today, I'll walk you through exactly how to make that happen, one step at a time. Before we get started, let's be clear about one important thing here. This isn't about manipulation or getting revenge on them. This is about protecting your own peace, your power, and your sanity. Because narcissists behave like emotional vampires. They survive off your reactions, your energy, your fear, your anger, and your sadness. As long as you keep reacting to them, they'll always come back for more. Research and psychology both point to the fact that narcissists believe they own you outright. In their mind, you belong to them completely. You aren't a person with your own freedom. You're a source of emotional supply they can tap into anytime they please. But here's the truth they hope you never figure out. This entire illusion collapses the moment you stop playing your assigned role in their game. When you refuse to react, to chase after them, or to explain yourself, they lose their grip on you. So let's go through the 7 things that make narcissists lose interest and finally leave you alone for good. And trust me, number 7 is the most powerful one of the entire list. The first thing you have to do is stop giving them emotional reactions altogether. Narcissists feed on your emotions the same way fire feeds on fuel. They don't actually care whether you love them or hate them. What matters to them is that you're still reacting in some way, that you still care enough to feel something at all. When you cry, beg, argue, or try to explain yourself to them, you're handing over exactly what they crave most. Think of it like dealing with a spoiled child throwing a fit. When a child throws a tantrum and gets attention for it, they learn that tantrums are effective. Narcissists work the exact same way, except they're adults with the emotional control of a toddler. When you react to them, they feel powerful and in control. But when you stop reacting entirely, when you stay calm and emotionally flat around them, they lose their grip completely. At first, they'll push even harder to get a rise out of you. They'll say hurtful things, try to provoke you deliberately, maybe even pretend to change for a while. They'll do whatever it takes to squeeze out a reaction from you. But when you give them absolutely nothing back, no anger, no sadness, no excitement whatsoever, they start to lose steam quickly. Because what's the point of performing when nobody's watching them anymore? This doesn't mean faking indifference toward them. It means you've genuinely reached a place where their opinions, insults, and drama simply don't touch you anymore. That's what real strength actually looks like. The second thing is to practice complete no contact and do it the right way. Many people believe they're doing no contact properly, but they keep making small exceptions along the way. Real no contact means absolutely zero communication, zero curiosity, and zero checking in on them. Experts point to 5 specific areas where people quietly break contact without even realizing they're doing it. Direct messages, indirect messages sent through other people, scrolling their social media, driving past their house, or asking mutual friends how they're doing. You need to shut every single one of these doors completely and permanently. Picture a burglar casually walking down a street looking for a target. He comes across a house with a locked gate, security cameras, bright lights, and a barking dog, so he simply walks on by. But if he spots a house with open windows and no alarm system, that's exactly where he targets next. Narcissists think in precisely the same way. They're always hunting for the path of least resistance. So if you make yourself difficult to reach, they'll move along to easier targets. That's why your no contact has to be total and complete. Block their number entirely, block them across all social media, and even change your phone number if it comes to that. Let mutual friends know clearly that you don't want updates about them and that you won't be providing any updates either. But here's the hardest part of all. You also have to stop checking up on them yourself. Every single time you view their profile or ask someone about them, you're breaking your own boundary from the inside. Somehow, they can always seem to sense it when this happens, but once you go completely and totally silent, you become invisible to them entirely. Narcissists simply cannot manipulate what they cannot see. They cannot control what they cannot reach. They might test you occasionally to see if you'll respond, but if you never do, they'll eventually give up and move on for good. The third thing is to stop defending yourself or explaining your actions to them. Narcissists are absolute experts at twisting your own words and making you feel like you owe them a justification for everything you do. They'll accuse you of things you never actually did, just to keep the conversation going and keep you talking. The more you explain yourself, the deeper you sink into their trap. When you defend yourself to them, you're implicitly accepting the idea that you need their approval to feel okay. You're handing them the power to judge your entire worth as a person. But picture what happens once you finally stop doing that. If they call you selfish and you simply reply, okay. If they say you never cared and you respond with, that's your opinion, suddenly they lose their grip on you completely because their whole manipulation strategy depends entirely on your need to be understood by them. Once you stop caring what they think of you, they can no longer hurt you at all. You don't need their approval to know exactly who you are. You don't have to prove your kindness, your loyalty, or your love to them because none of that actually matters to them anyway. This doesn't mean you let lies about you spread unchecked, of course. If someone at work threatens your job over false claims, you obviously defend yourself professionally in that context. But in personal relationships, silence is usually the smarter and more effective move. Don't play along with their game at all. When you stop explaining yourself to them, you're showing them clearly that their opinions carry zero weight with you anymore. You're essentially saying, you don't get to define who I am, and that's something a narcissist absolutely cannot handle or accept. The fourth thing is to become genuinely and truly indifferent toward them. Pretending not to care simply won't work because narcissists can sense fake energy almost instantly. Real indifference means you've healed enough internally that you truly don't care what they're doing, who they're with, or what they're saying about you anymore. They become completely emotionally irrelevant to your life. You stop checking their updates altogether, stop wondering about their life, stop hoping they miss you at all. They're just another person in the world who no longer has any access to your emotions whatsoever. To reach that point, you first have to grieve properly. You have to grieve the illusion, the version of them you once believed was real and genuine. You have to accept fully that the person you fell for never truly existed the way you pictured them in your mind. Once you work through that pain completely, peace naturally follows afterward. Then you start seeing them clearly for what they really are underneath it all. Not powerful, not mysterious, just deeply broken and insecure at their core. You realize their cruelty stems from their own emptiness inside. Their need for control stems from their own fear. And once that fully clicks for you, you stop taking their behavior personally at all. That's when they finally lose their hold over you for good. True indifference isn't hatred, by the way. Hatred still feeds them plenty of energy. Indifference means you feel absolutely nothing toward them, just plain neutrality. You stop trying to understand them, fix them, or change them in any way. They simply fade out of your emotional world entirely. That's when genuine freedom finally begins for you. The fifth step is to pour all of your focus completely into your own life instead. This is where the real healing process actually starts to happen. You stop living as a reaction to them entirely. You stop posting things just to make them jealous. You stop doing things purely to prove your own worth to anyone. You stop going places hoping to accidentally run into them. You stop constantly asking yourself, what would they think if I did this? Instead, you start living fully for yourself. You take on new projects, meet genuinely good people, and chase after your own personal dreams. You spend your time doing what genuinely excites you instead of endlessly replaying the past in your head. You invest heavily in your own growth, your health, and your happiness, and something remarkable happens as a result. You start to glow from the inside out. Your energy shifts to become peaceful, joyful, and completely fulfilled. Narcissists absolutely hate this because it completely shatters their illusion that you need them to survive. They want you to be miserable, broken, and constantly missing them. But when you're out there living your absolute best life, their control over you gradually fades away. When your focus is fully on yourself, you no longer have any room left to think about their chaos at all. You're too busy building something peaceful and meaningful of your own instead. You stop measuring your success against theirs entirely. You stop competing with them. You stop explaining yourself to them. You stop caring what they think altogether. And that peace becomes your protective shield. It keeps you from ever being dragged back into old familiar patterns. The sixth thing is to stop trying to expose them or change them in any way. This is one of the hardest steps to take because your sense of fairness screams internally that they need to be held accountable for what they did. You want to warn other people about them. You want the whole world to see exactly what they did to you. But every single time you try to expose them, you're feeding them even more energy because even negative attention still counts as attention to them. They don't actually care if you hate them or not. They only care that you're still talking about them at all. When you try to expose them publicly, they often play the victim card and twist the entire story around. They'll convince others that you're obsessed, bitter, or unstable instead. They tend to be quite charming with outsiders, and there's a good chance they've already shared their version of events with everyone. So when you finally speak up about what happened, it can actually come across as proof of their lies instead. It's deeply unfair, but it's true nonetheless. The same principle applies to trying to change them. You simply cannot fix someone who refuses to even acknowledge there's a problem in the first place. Sending them articles about narcissism, begging them to seek help, explaining their behavioral patterns to them, none of that actually works at all. All it does is hand them more control over you and keep you emotionally tied to them indefinitely. Their healing was never your job to begin with. Their self-awareness is not your responsibility to carry. You cannot teach empathy to someone who has absolutely no interest in feeling it themselves. Once you stop trying to change them or expose them to the world, you take your own energy back for good. You stop playing the hero in their story and finally become the main character in your own instead. That's what real victory actually looks like. The best revenge is simply living well. Not to hurt them in any way, but purely to heal yourself. When you're happy, strong, and at peace, that's the one thing they can never manage to steal from you. And now for the seventh and final step of all. Become completely emotionally unavailable as a source of supply to them. This is the ultimate form of freedom you can achieve. It means you're not just physically distant from them, but emotionally out of their reach entirely. They can no longer trigger you at all because you've fully detached from needing their approval or attention. When they text you, you simply don't reply. When they insult you, you don't flinch even slightly. When they praise you, you don't melt for them. You stay steady, calm, and grounded no matter what. You give them absolutely nothing back. No anger, no love, no pity, no explanation whatsoever. You become as still and unmovable as a rock, not cold out of hatred, but peaceful out of genuine inner strength. Once you reach this level, you don't just make one particular narcissist lose interest in you. You stop attracting them entirely from that point forward. They can sense instantly when someone has no emotional supply left to give them, and they simply move along elsewhere. You become invisible to toxic people while simultaneously becoming magnetic to kind, healthy ones. You start drawing in people who match your peace rather than people who constantly test it. Becoming emotionally unavailable isn't about pretending to be strong on the surface. It's about becoming genuinely healed on the inside instead. It's about finally realizing that your peace is far too precious to waste on people who only drain it from you. Once you're emotionally unavailable to manipulation entirely, you're truly free at last. You can finally live your life without their shadow trailing behind you everywhere you go. So there you have it laid out. The 7 powerful ways to make narcissists leave you alone for good, once and for all. Stop giving them emotional reactions. Go no contact and hold that line firmly no matter what. Stop defending yourself or explaining your actions to them. Become genuinely and truly indifferent toward them. Focus completely on building your own life instead. Stop trying to expose them or change them in any way. And finally, become emotionally unavailable as a source of supply for them. This was never about punishing them or winning some kind of contest against them. It's about reclaiming your peace, your joy, and your self-respect for yourself. When you follow these 7 steps, you're not just making them lose interest in you. You're setting yourself completely free in the process. The goal was never to hurt them at all. The goal has always been to heal yourself instead. Sometimes the single most powerful thing you can ever do is walk away quietly and never look back at all. Not because you hate them, but because you've genuinely learned to love yourself more than you love the idea of them. You don't owe them pain, a reaction, or closure of any kind. You owe yourself peace instead. When you rise above all their games and stop responding to their chaos entirely, you become completely untouchable. You become the one thing they simply cannot control, calm, grounded, and free. And that's when you truly win in the end. Not by defeating them in some battle, but by choosing yourself above everything else. If this message has helped you in any way, keep learning, keep growing, and keep choosing peace every single day going forward, because the life waiting for you beyond their control is far more beautiful and peaceful than you can even imagine right now. When you finally break free from this entire cycle, something truly amazing begins happening inside you gradually. You start to see just how much of your life was spent trying to earn love from someone who never actually had any real love to give you in return. You realize how many times you explained yourself to them, hoping they'd finally understand, only to be misunderstood all over again anyway. You start to see clearly that the arguments, the confusion, the sudden affection, followed by cruelty, None of it was ever your fault at all. It was all part of their deliberate design to keep you stuck inside their web indefinitely. Narcissists build emotional traps specifically designed to make you question your own worth as a person. So when you finally step outside of it all, the air feels genuinely different, lighter, cleaner, more peaceful than before. That silence that once terrified you slowly becomes your sanctuary instead over time. At first, the silence feels like a genuine loss to you. You miss the intensity, even the chaos itself, because your nervous system had become addicted to it over time. It's not actually love that you're missing at all. It's the emotional roller coaster you got used to riding. That's precisely what trauma bonding does to a person. It rewires your brain to crave the very person who continually hurts you. But with enough time, the fog eventually clears completely. You start sleeping better at night. You start smiling again for no particular reason at all. You start feeling genuinely safe in your own space once more. That's exactly when you know real healing is happening for you. The narcissist may believe they broke you completely, but in reality, they only pushed you towards your own awakening instead. You see, narcissists never actually expect their victims to rise up again. They expect you to stay broken indefinitely, to keep replaying the same story in your head endlessly, to keep wishing for closure that will never come. But the greatest closure of all is understanding that you don't actually need one from them. You don't need their apology at all. You don't need them to ever admit they were wrong about anything. You don't need to hear them say, "I'm sorry," because their words were never genuinely real to begin with anyway. Their apologies function as strategies, not as sincere expressions of remorse. Once you fully understand that truth, you stop waiting around for it. You take your own power back completely. You move forward with your life without them in it. Healing from a narcissist doesn't happen quickly, but it's absolutely worth every single step of the journey. It's like walking out of a dark cave after spending years trapped inside it. At first, the light stings your eyes painfully, but soon you begin to see colors you'd completely forgotten existed. You notice small joys again throughout your day, the sound of your own genuine laughter, the comfort of real peace, the beauty of quiet mornings where nobody is judging you at all. You remember who you were before all the manipulation, before the self-doubt crept in, before all the lies began. You reconnect fully with your own soul again. And as you continue healing, you begin attracting different kinds of people into your life. You stop drawing in people who drain you because your own energy has fundamentally shifted and changed. Healthy people naturally recognize your peace and genuinely respect it. Broken people feel uncomfortable being around it and naturally drift away over time. That's exactly how you know you're truly growing as a person. When peace starts to feel normal to you and chaos starts to feel foreign instead, you stop chasing intensity and start craving calm in your life. You come to realize that love doesn't actually have to hurt at all. Real love is gentle by nature. Real love is consistent over time. Real love feels genuinely safe to experience. Narcissists simply cannot survive in that kind of healthy environment at all. They need confusion, competition, and control in order to feel truly alive inside. Once you no longer provide them with any of that, they lose all interest in you completely. They'll go looking for someone new instead, someone who still falls for their charm, who still reacts to their games, who still gives their energy away freely without question. Let them go entirely. You are not the solution to their emptiness, no matter how much you might wish you could fix things. You are not their savior, their therapist, or their emotional crutch to lean on. You were never actually supposed to fix them in the first place. You were supposed to learn from the experience instead, to learn exactly where you gave your own power away and how to never do that again going forward. That's precisely why your healing isn't just simple recovery. It's genuine transformation instead. The version of you that once tolerated disrespect no longer exists at all anymore. The version that kept over-explaining herself has learned the true value of silence instead. The version that once begged for love now gives that same love to herself first, before anyone else. You have genuinely evolved as a person. You have grown into someone who no longer dances for scraps of affection because you've built your own table entirely. You've learned that peace isn't boring at all. It's sacred instead. There will still be moments when you feel triggered unexpectedly. Old memories might surface out of nowhere sometimes. You might hear a certain song or see a message that reminds you of them suddenly. But instead of completely breaking down like before, you'll pause, take a breath, and realize clearly that you survived it all. You made it out alive and whole. They no longer control your emotions in any way. That realization hits incredibly deep when it finally sinks in. It's like reclaiming a piece of your own soul that they once tried desperately to steal from you. Every single time you stay silent instead of reacting to them, you win. Every time you choose peace instead of chaos, you win. Every time you walk away instead of trying to prove yourself to them, you win. And every single time you smile at your own reflection, knowing full well you no longer need their validation at all, you win. That's what real victory actually looks like. Not the kind that requires an audience to witness it, but the quiet, powerful kind that happens deep inside your own spirit instead. In time, you'll stop wondering entirely whether they still think about you at all. You'll stop asking yourself why they did what they did to you. You'll stop trying to make logical sense of something that was never actually built on logic in the first place. Narcissists don't operate from a place of love at all. They operate from fear instead. Fear of being ordinary, fear of being ignored, fear of being fully exposed for who they really are. They wear confidence like a mask specifically to hide their own deep inner emptiness. You no longer need to understand them fully because their own behavior already says everything you need to know. Your new chapter isn't about revenge at all. It's about genuine rebirth instead. You're becoming the version of yourself that they actively tried to destroy along the way. The version that knows her own true worth, values her own peace deeply, and trusts her own intuition completely. You stop doubting yourself constantly and start listening instead to that inner voice that warned you all along the way. You start believing in your own strength again, fully and completely. You stop apologizing for having boundaries at all. You stop shrinking yourself just to make others comfortable around you. You start living boldly, freely, and peacefully instead. And that's the exact moment the narcissist truly loses everything. Not when you argue with them, not when you expose them publicly, but when you heal so deeply and completely that their name no longer triggers any reaction in you whatsoever. That's when you've genuinely won the final battle against them. They can no longer touch you emotionally, mentally, or spiritually in any way. You have stepped completely outside of their reach for good. So if you're still stuck in that place of confusion or pain right now, please hold on a little longer. Healing genuinely takes time to happen fully, but every single day you maintain no contact, every day you refuse to react to them, every day you choose peace over drama instead, you're moving one step closer to true freedom. Don't measure your progress by how quickly you stop thinking about them entirely. Measure it instead by how little power those remaining thoughts actually hold over you now. You are not the same person you were when they first met you. Not anymore. You are stronger, wiser, and far more self-aware than before. In the end, the narcissist ended up teaching you something genuinely powerful, even without meaning to. How to protect your own energy fiercely, how to trust your own intuition fully, and how to value your own peace above almost everything else. Pain became your greatest teacher throughout this journey, but healing became your true graduation from it all. You don't need closure from them at all because you've already closed that entire chapter yourself on your own terms. Now it's finally time to live fully. It's time to create a life filled completely with love, truth, and calm. A life where your heart finally feels